Okay, I've got the New York Jets draft reaction. I'll look at each pick, give my thoughts on each player, and then give an overall grade of the draft at the end. So let's get straight into it. We got Zach Wilson, first pick for them. Yep, second over pick, second best quarterback in the class. Makes a ton of sense. They traded away Sam Darnold. They get the future franchised quarterback in Zach Wilson, who definitely will be just such an accurate player, so good going through his reads. It just looks like a franchise quarterback for the Jets, and I think he's a better prospect than Sam Darnold coming out. And they've now got a better team around him also to build around, and he's got some good weapons. I think he's in a good situation for Zach Wilson, and I hope he does well. So then they traded up for Elijah Vera Tucker with their second pick. I didn't really like the trade up for Elijah Vera Tucker. He is a really good player. I think he will be very good guard for them. You're trading up a lot for a guard. Like Minnesota, they got Christian Dershaw and who is it? Not Trey Smith. The guard from Ohio State. Yeah, the guard from Ohio State. I'll say that. They got them for this trade. He is the best guard in the class, Elijah Vera Tucker. He will be a good fit for the Jets because they like to run the ball and pass. They probably will do a lot of passing with the players they got. And I mean, yeah, just really good player, really good guard, very athletic. That left side of that line will be very good now. But I just didn't love the trade up for him. Like you could have stayed put and got Christian Dershaw, or yeah, I mean you could have just got really good players at your point and gotten more picks, like kept your picks. But it wasn't horrible. Like he's a really good player, and I can see how they're really high on him to trade up for him because he was really good. And then they picked Elijah Moore with their first pick in the second round. That was a very good pick. I really like Elijah Moore. He's a really good slot receiver. Primarily just going to play in the slot. Doesn't really have that outside build. I think he can play a bit on the outside. Just really athletic dude. Good deep threat. Good after the catch in the middle of the field. You just give him the ball. He'll be really good. Very good route runner also. Possible replacement for Jamison Crowder in the future in that slot, which he was very productive at, Jamison Crowder. But I think he can still get a lot of snaps next season just with the receivers they got. They got their outside receiver and Corey Davis, and then you got Jamison Crowder probably being that number one slot receiver. But Elijah Moore could definitely win that position just because he has that good upside and he's a very good player. And then they also got Denzel Mims. But I like Elijah Moore. I like the pick. Really good player. Not a reach out. And then they went for Michael Carter, the running back from North Carolina. Yeah, I like the pick. Michael Carter's a good running back. And they needed probably a number one running back in their team. And I think Michael Carter can definitely be that. He's a very versatile player, very good runner, also good pass catcher, just a really good all-around running back, so I like it. And then they went for Jamin Sherwood, maybe a bit of a reach for Jamin Sherwood, but he's a good player. And they need some more players in that secondary. Safety, not the biggest need in secondary, but he also has versatility to play in the corner position, kind of with a lot of their players they drafted. He's primarily a safety, but kind of more of a box also. He's just versatile. You can use him all over the place. And of course, you got uh, the coaches around there that can definitely move him all around. And then they picked Michael Carter, slot corner. He could probably start straight. He probably will because they cut Brian Poole's not there. Did they cut him or this is not re? I just didn't resign him, did they? But Michael Carter, bit of a reach, fifth round, probably more sixth, seventh round type of player. Maybe undrafted, but he would be a pretty good player. I think he can be good in the slot. Probably struggle a bit. He's a bit small, but they picked two Michael Carters. They just couldn't pass up on it. And then went for Jason Pinnock. Yeah, he played safety mostly at Pittsburgh, but he also played some corner. And he probably projects more corner, so I like them putting him as a corner. I feel like this is probably about his range actually, because he was a pretty good player when he got into that corner position also. And they really need to improve that secondary. I don't know how much these three players will really impact that secondary. They don't really got a true number one corner. Maybe one of them like progresses into that. Maybe they do. You never know. Maybe one of these are a steal in the draft. But it's not like one of the dudes at the front of the draft that are like legit players. And then they pick Hampton and Cyril Dean, box safety. That's pretty much it. Just because of his size, he's probably just going to primarily play in the box. I could see him getting quite a bit of snaps next year because he was a pretty good player at Florida State. Last year was a bit down for him, but the year before he was a very good player. And yeah, probably more of a box. And then they went for Brandon Eccles. Yeah, Brandon Eccles is a pretty decent player. 6th round, that's a pretty decent pick for Brandon Eccles. I mean, their corners are basically just 5th, 6th round players, 4th. And you might have something there, I'm not sure. But they really just need to find somebody at corners. They just find one really good steal out of all these players. I think it's really good. And then they just went for Jonathan Marshall. Just depth in the interior defensive line, not really massive upside. He's a pretty decent player though in the end of the 6th round. Pretty good. And yeah, Jonathan Marshall, 6th round. I don't mind it. Pretty decent. So that was the Jets. A lot of players I liked that they took, like a lot of my guys. And then some picks that were interesting, like trading up for Elijah Vera Tucker. I mean, they got Zach Wilson. That's kind of the steal for them. So I think overall this draft, I'll give it an A because I really like a lot of their picks, and then I like their secondary picks actually late. They just went like on a streak of just secondary players. I think you could get somebody out of there definitely. Maybe a couple players that can turn into really good players. There's kind of upside players, and then I also like their first 4 picks, like as the players individually I like for this team, and think you got some starters straight away with all of these players. And so I like it. So A for the Jets. Yeah, that seems pretty good. So the next one I have is the Eagles. So stay tuned and see.